Hello and welcome to another Random Tech 887 review, and today we're looking at one of my most prized computers. It's my own first personal computer. It's the Fujitsu Siemens Li2727. Now a bit of history on this computer. Basically, I wasn't allowed. Well, I remember when I was younger, I was never allowed my own computer. I always had to use the family computer. But then one day, my parents decided to buy me this, and I picked it. I got it for £200. Can you believe it? Refurbished back then. I think it was in 2007 or 8. Sorry, I just had a drink. Yeah, and it's still working strong today. Now, I have changed the insides of this. Basically, it came with a 2 GHz Celeron. I think it's Celeron M or something. I'm not too sure. It was based off the Core 2 duos at the time, but that thing was just hideously slow. I remember it running Windows Vista, which is what it came with, obviously, and it was just atrociously slow. I remember having the sidebar widgets, and you used to be able to see the CPU usage on that all the time, but and that it just used to get pegs all the time. But more on that a bit later. So a quick overview of the computer. The hinge here isn't great. Literally, every time you open the computer, so I'll demonstrate that. This computer has been through, it's been through a lot. I'm not gonna lie, it's been through a lot, but it's still running strong today. As you open the machine, this doesn't stay on properly now. That's just me from tinkering from being a silly young age. The screen's a bit wobbly, but yeah, apart from a few blemishes here and there, it's a good old laptop. Very, very good. Okay, so we've got line in and out here at the front. It's an interesting place. Fujitsu Siemens love to put their islands in the front. On the side here we've got 4 USB 2. I remember back then I used to think, wow, I still haven't seen really a notebook with this size with 4 USB ports. On the side here, you can see the bend on the screen. But yeah, we've got the hard drive bay. There should be a cover here, and there should be a CD drive in here, but from wear and tear and from the CD drive always falling out for no reason, that's no longer there, obviously. On the back here we've got model number Li2727, manufacture date 08. Someone can decode that for me, well, please do. I don't really know what that means. I remember this. Now, there are supposed to be screws in here, but I never used to put screws in here because I'm that much of a G. Looking on the inside here, get this camera to focus. Here we've got 1 gig, 2 gig, or 1 gig each stick of DDR2 5533 memory, and under here we've got a Core 2 Duo, 2.2 gigahertz dual core. It's the second highest one they've done. I've forgotten what the actual spec model for it is, but yeah, it was the highest they've ever done, or second highest. There was a remember there's a 2.4 gigahertz one as well, but this chipset is a GL960. And officially, the GL960 doesn't support Core 2 Duos. It supports Pentium core dual cores. That's when they started to do that. And celerons. Now, I salvaged a HP machine that had the fate of the NVIDIA, where the NVIDIA chips were coming off the motherboard. They were desoldering themselves. That one of the computers had that fate, and I took that CPU out of there and put it in here, thinking it would work. And at first it didn't. Interestingly enough, at first it really did not work. Plugged it, put the CPU in, everything seemed to be fine, and then if you put any kind of demand on the system, it would shut off. Now, I literally spent days upon days trying to figure out how to do this. All the forums I was going on, they were saying, no, it's not going to work. You need a GM965 or something. The higher end chipset to the one that's in this computer. But no, after literally days upon days of research, at first what I was doing was I was limiting the CPU to 1.6 gigahertz just through Windows UI, through the battery, just throttling it through the battery thing. But I wasn't too happy with that in the essence, because I wanted that full 2.2 gigahertz. Like, this computer is still a great machine now. 2.2 gigahertz dual Core 2 Duo is literally could and does still do wonders today. Anyway, as Windows loads up on this traditional hard drive, that's one thing I do not miss. Let's have a look at the LED indicators down here. So of course we've got, let me try to get this to focus. We've got Wi-Fi, we've got power, we've got a standby light, which is that moon. We've got the hard drive light, which will obviously be constantly on. We've got a charging light, we've got caps lock and numlock. I need to Control Alt delete this, because this is running off one of my domains. Anyway, back to the CPU story. Now, as I was saying, I was running it at 1.6 gigahertz, and I just wasn't happy with that. I knew there was a better way around this, how I could do this, because I just couldn't accept the fact that the system would just shut off because it's on high load. And I knew it was a powerful chip, because it is one of the most powerful chips that this socket can even have. But yeah, I found a way around it, which I have a show you now. So any Fujitsu Siemens owners or GL960 chipset owners, I'll show you how I done it, and just get CPU ID up and show you exactly what we're working with here. And oh yeah, the display on this is a 80. It's a 1280 by 800 display, same as on my Mac. Yeah. Just wait for this to load up. On earlier revisions of this, of the BIOS, you had to press FN and the Wi-Fi key every time to initiate the Wi-Fi, which is very annoying. But the later BIOS revision fixed that, and you can throttle the computer by pressing that fan button. But it used to throttle with the celeron, and that didn't even support throttling. So not really sure how that works. But anyway, here what we've got. We've got Intel Core 2 Duo T7500. So obviously it's 2.2 gigahertz, 2 cores, Marium. 4 megabytes of L2 cache. Like, this is a serious chip, and it was back then a serious chip. And this is what's interesting. Here we've got a GL960 Now, if you research this chipset yourself, you'll realize that that is not even supported. Well, this combination of CPU and chipset just should not work. Just shouldn't work. It pushed the memory frequency up to 667 overall clock speed, and it is in dual channel mode. Graphics, Intel 965 Express chipset family. Nothing really interesting there. Yeah, so now you know, and you can believe me upon what I'm saying. Ugh. Bloody Macar, I don't know who's installed that. And this is how I've done it. I've undervolted the CPU, guys, and it worked. By undervolting the CPU, I can run this thing at a full 2.2 gigahertz. And I can prove that to you. I can run Prime 95 and it will be just fine. As you can see. You just heard the fan kick in. That's how passive it, the fan didn't even turn on until now. But yeah, this system is pretty good. For any of the owners, literally these chips, you can buy them so cheap, the CPU, and like I showed you earlier on the back, you can literally just unscrew the CPU block, put in a new one, and you're done. That is literally all there is to it. And on this, what program I'm using Rightmark CPU Clock Utility. Older piece of software, but it just does the job. It made it so I can it's very good monitoring features on here as well. You can enable and disable all of these different options for the CPU. If I go on profiles here, this is not the standard voltage. Let's have a look on CPU ID and see if it says what the voltage should be. I'm not 100% sure on that. No, it doesn't say what the standard should be. Okay, never mind. But by undervolting the CPU, I've made it so that the laptop won't shut up even on high loads. And I think it was shutting off before because it was drawing too much power, and the chipset was just never designed to draw that much power in the first place. But yeah, it's running Windows 7 on here. Nothing really interesting. Just your classic Windows install. Got SimCity 4 on here. Used to play a lot. But yeah, let me know if you want to see more on this system. It's probably one of my most interesting systems because of all the upgrades I've done to it. But yeah, that was a random Tech 887 overview. Let me know if you want to see more. I am out here.